offensively, in large part because Meyer clears that space. In a game against Americans that will probably be pretty physical, lots of battles around the front of the net, Meyer should be front and center.
A lot of guys come to the World Championship to put a bad year behind them for themselves or their team. And in the case of Jeremy Swayman, he's Exhibit A.
He didn't have a great year. He got a great contract, but then didn't follow up a great year in Boston. And he is rewriting the tail end of his season with a pretty good tournament here for the U.S. But it becomes a great experience and a real building block to build back up his confidence and really launch him into next season if he wins this game. And I think he's going to have to be really good because Giannone at the other end is solid, but really the Swiss defense is so good that I don't think there's a lot of margin for Swayman to get that swagger back that he plays with when he's at his best. Winning a gold medal today would go a long part to him having a great summer and another good year in Boston next year.
These are the two highest scoring teams in the tournament, and they've done it the same way with depth. Each team has 19 different goal scorers so far in this World Championship. Mark?
Thanks, guys. So you have a Swiss team that has reached the gold medal game 3 times since 2013. They have never won a world title, however, in their 57 appearances. For the Americans, they have won it twice. Now, in 1960, they won the Olympic gold, and that counted as a world championship. So 1933 was the last time that they won a world championship tournament. Either way, someone's going to be really happy over a long overdue drought. Let's begin the way that Gord and MJ just ended what we heard from them, and it's the scoring depth. And for the Americans, Dave, you also have to enter in the speed of that depth.
And with their speed, they own the neutral zone. And when you own the neutral zone, you're going to create all sorts of opportunities. And the speed of this team is the way that this team scores goals. You've got 12 of 13 forwards in the game today in the gold medal game for the U.S. have scored a goal. The only player who doesn't is Will Smith. Oh, he's got 7 assists. He just sets them up. But you see the speed in the neutral zone that most teams aren't able to keep up with. And if you are able to shut the neutral zone down, if you've got a good gap in the neutral zone, well, the U.S. is going to start zipping the puck around. This is a beautiful sauce pass by Logan Cooley. They've got skill. They've got throughout their lineup, they can score at in any way. 20% of their goals come on the power play. Their defense has got but one defenseman has scored a goal in this tournament. They've scored 45 goals in the tournament. Only Switzerland is better with 47. Very similar teams, but the U.S. is the way that they skate, the way they play the game. It's get over center and direct the puck to the net with some authority. They've been very successful with that.
And Gio, they'll be trying to beat Leonardo Giannone today, who's a name, if you've never watched this tournament, you're saying, who is that? But if you have, you know he's one of the best goalies in the history of the World Championship.
Yeah, Swiss legend. And in single elimination games, the most important position is goaltending. It doesn't matter what anyone wants to say, it's goaltending. So to have a guy like Giannone in net, the Swiss are really happy. Here he is playing the U.S. and early in the tournament in a 3-0 shutout. But as you see here, the U.S. didn't really have any bodies in front of him. He saw a lot of pucks. And it's pretty much been like that all tournament. This guy's 37 years old. It's his 11th World Championship. 7-time National League champion, which is a top league in Switzerland. 6-time Jacques Plante Trophy Award winner in that league. And here's his last five games here, last 6 games, sorry. He gave up 5 goals in 1 game. The rest of the way, 1 goal, 4 shutouts. I mean, he's feeling pretty good.
They're almost unbeatable.
three consecutive shutouts. That's what you want. You want your goalie feeling good. It's a gold medal game. But I will say, the quality of the competition towards the end of that tournament was a little bit less than what the U.S. has been facing. So you can, if you're the U.S., you're looking at that and saying, okay, guys, we can get to them.
Yeah, completely different path to the gold medal game when you think that the U.S. just had to beat the Swedes and the Finns to get to a gold medal game. And with Canada going out, it was a Danish team that the Swiss had to face in the semis. This is a look at the projected lineup, which was the lineup that we've seen the last few games from the Americans. Gio, I don't make predictions. I'm not Mystic Mark here, but I think we're going to see a lot of Zach Werenski.
Yeah, he wasn't even coming to the tournament at the start of the tournament. So for the Americans to get him, how happy are they? A guy who's been playing 25 minutes a night for the U.S. In this tournament, 25 minutes is huge. Guys are usually around the next best demon on his team is 18:44 a night, Lacombe. So, to get a guy who's a smooth skater, a guy he's got 1 goal, 5 assists in 6 games in this tournament, had 23 goals, 59 assists, and 82 points this year in the NHL. He's up for the Norris. What an ad for them. He's gonna move the puck. He's gonna skate up the ice. He's gonna be all over the map. And at the end of the day, next to Swayman, he's their most important player.
Nico Hischier was an important player for the Swiss. They lost him in the middle of the tournament with an injury, but thankfully for Switzerland, they got a couple of guys from the Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah,
a couple of goal scorers with Fiala and Nino Niederreiter, and both of these players are going to need to score goals because the U.S.'s averages over 5 goals a game in 8 of their 9. Fiala is just a natural goal scorer. Last year's MVP in the tournament and a silver medal, 2-0 loss to Czech. He was absolutely dynamite. Nino Niederreiter is a huge body, along with Timo Meier. These two guys can own the crease in any game, whether it's National Hockey League or international. 2 goals against Denmark, really set the tempo against Denmark, got his team on the score sheet. These two guys will carry play. They can score, they can push the play, they can own the puck in the offensive zone, and this is something that the U.S. has got to be prepared for. If you keep Fiala, if you can keep Kevin Fiala off the score sheet and out of the game and keep his fancy play to a minimum, you're going to have a better chance of winning this game because Swiss builds off of Kevin Fiala's play.
All year, USA Hockey has been paying tribute to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, who died tragically last August. And we've been seeing these pictures throughout the tournament above the door of the Team USA dressing room and a large helmet decal with Johnny and Matthew's numbers. Johnny's jersey is hanging in that dressing room. He played at last year's Worlds, where he broke the all-time U.S. record for points and assists. Let's hear from our 2 coaches with Lindsay Hamilton.
You mentioned meeting Switzerland in the preliminary round. What did you learn about the team in that initial meeting?
Yeah, I think they're a structured team, and they can skate. They've got experience, guys that have obviously done really well. Some guys that play in the National Hockey League. Some guys have won in the Swiss League. They have some high, powered offense, and some guys that we've seen throughout the year in the National Hockey League that can score. So again, structured team. We know we need to really be on it with the puck and without it, and our legs will kind of guide us in that direction.
Patrick, back in the gold medal game for the 2nd straight year, how would you say the team is feeling right now?
Hungry. Obviously, last year was a tough loss for us. We were ready to make that step, and we couldn't make it. And we reflected it. We had to find ways to get better. And I think this year we are playing a better tournament than last year. And we are ready to do everything to get the gold medal.
Tough to get to this stage without great goaltending, and Leonardo Giannoni has 4 shutouts in the tournament, including his last 3 games, a goals against average of under 1 and a save percentage of .946. And Jeremy Swayman really turning around his season with a 6-0 record at this year's World, a goals against average just under 2 and a .905 save percentage. Earlier today, it was the Swedes looking to bounce back following a really bitter loss to the Americans. And while they are celebrating a bronze medal performance against Denmark, those highlights when we return.
The 2025 IIHF Men's World Championship is brought to you in part by TELUS, now offering pure fiber internet across Canada. By Esso, from the Esso Medals program to representing Team Canada. Esso is dedicated to Canada's game. And by Tim Hortons and Ryan Reynolds. Try Ryan's signature.
The final game of the 2025 World Hockey Championship. Who will break through? The Swiss, who have never won gold, or the United States, who last won a World Championship gold back in 1933. The officials, referees Michael Campbell of Canada, Mikael Holm of Sweden, Albert Andersson of Denmark, and Ani Halamaki of Finland are the linesmen. Patrick Fischer, 9th year as the head coach of the Swiss national team, trying to guide them to the place they've never been before. They've never won a gold medal at a top-level IIHF event, men's or women's. And 37-year-old Ryan Warsofsky behind the bench for the United States. First time coaching the men's national team as the head coach of the San Jose Sharks in the NHL. Switzerland lost gold medal games in 2013 here in Stockholm, 2018 in Copenhagen. Last year in Prague, Nino Niederreiter, the only man who played on all 3 of those teams, more than anyone. He seeks a breakthrough tonight. And starting a goal for the Swiss is 37-year-old Swiss legend Leonardo Giannoni, sporting a .946 save percentage in the tournament. He has posted shutouts all along the way. Jeremy Swayman, 6-0 for the United States, did not play in their round-robin loss to the Swiss. Switzerland won that game 3-0. has 3 straight shutouts in the tournament. Swiss lost their opener to the Czechs in overtime and have run the table since then. And away we go. The gold medal game is underway. Back goes Jackson Lacombe for it, knocked away from him. Dennis Mulligan skates by the puck, picked up by Logan Cooley. Cooley, one of the 8 players in this U.S. roster who is 22 years of age or younger. 14 of these American players were born in 2000 or later.
It's the youngest team.
In comes Jackson Lacombe, drops it back to Cooley. Good chance for Clayton Keller, elects not to shoot. Going to drop that back for Frank Nazar. Now loose back in the corner.
Versus the oldest team. Switzerland, the oldest team, average age 29. U.S. just 24.
Swiss without Nico Hischier, who was their captain in the win over the United States. He was injured later on in the tournament, has been replaced. Andrew Peak up for Nazar. He finds Matty Beniers winding in with Tage Thompson. And now Thompson after it. The lives of Andrea Glauser now wearing the C for Switzerland. Played back to Thompson. Rings it back around. Brady Shea on it. Since losing that game to the Czechs in their opener, the Swiss have allowed just 4 goals total in their last 8. Here's Thompson back on it. Tage Thompson winds in, slings that wide of the goal. And Janis Moser back to pick it up for the Swiss, who will be the host team next year of the World Championship. Imagine going home as the gold medalists. But the United States has other plans. Kesselring knocks that down to center ice for Pinto. It would have been a hand pass as Sandro Schmidt picks it back up and plays it across from Michael Fora, who leads the tournament at plus 13. Christian Marty plays it back down to the American zone. Schmidt back after it, and Kesselring back on it. So what's it going to be? The 2 highest scoring teams in the tournament in a high scoring game, or 2 very good defensive teams shutting it down?
Far more likely this is a defensive grinding game. Chance will be hard to come by. Both teams play with such good structure for a short tournament.
In comes Evan Riot with a shot that goes wide, rattles all the way out to center ice, and Jonas Siegenthaler plays it across. Much experienced Swiss veteran Siegenthaler, the only man in IIHF history to play 3 under-18s, 3 World Juniors, and 5 World Championships. And that play call offside at the Swiss line. Hard to hear the whistles in the din here at Avicii Arena tonight.
Will Smith looking to finish checks. Doesn't necessarily do that, but it's a gold medal game. Oh, he almost plants Marty into the box. Once you get him that far over, you got to give him the full shove to get him into the cameraman's box. Will Smith playing for his NHL head coach, Ryan Wasowski.
So the United States, at very least, will win a silver medal for the first time since 1950.
They don't want to hear about that at all.
They do not.
That is a non-factor in the discussion right now.
Connor Garland back with it. The United States will also win a medal in all 5 top-level competitions for the IIHF this year. The World Championship, the World Junior, where they won gold. The under-18s, where they won silver. The Women's Worlds, gold medals there. And the Women's under-18s, where they won a silver. Garland back on it. That's a pretty tidy bit of business in the 24-25 season. Brady Shea, a long shot. And Giannone hangs on to that. The first shot of the game, and Connor Garland was clipped at the side of the net. Gives Timo Meier a bump, and Connor Garland's up to his usual tricks early on.
It was only a matter of time before Garland and Meier came together. As Garland throws the head back, Kukan says, "Come on now, we're not getting that one." And then, of course, a little tug on Meier. These two they're cut from the same cloth, just Meier's just a little bit bigger piece of fabric.
Dean Kukan tied for the defense point lead in this tournament. Connor Garland has been terrific for Team USA. 10 points in 9 games. Scored in both their medal round games against the Finns and the Swedes. The United States with 6 straight wins since that shutout loss to the Swiss in the preliminary round in Herning, Denmark. Played back for Nazar, can't get a shot away. Thompson had a block. Niederreiter back with it. Niederreiter. Up for Fiala, played back across and knocked down by Jackson McComb. Here's Beniers back with it. Matty Beniers throws that rink wide for Nazar. And Werenski's jumped up, and Glauser steps into Werenski. Stays on in the corner. And here's Fiala back with it. A 35-goal scorer in the NHL this year. Thanks that pass up for Niederreiter, knocked down by Nazar. Nazar jumps in across the line, feeds it back across for Beniers. Matty Beniers works in, pivots back in the corner. Feeds that back to Kesselring, shoots, that goes off the stick of Niederreiter into the corner. Beniers tied up in the corner. Now Kesselring keeps it alive for the U.S. It's Andres Ambul, the Swiss veteran, all-time leader in tournaments played and games played.
20th World Championship, his 151st game, looking for his first goal.
Did not play in 2018 when the Swiss lost to Sweden in the shootout. They led that game 1-0 and 2-1. And Niederreiter was the last shooter who missed in the shootout to give the Swedes the gold medal. Here's Marty, plays it back around, knocked down by Brady Shea. Chipped away from him, back to center ice, and fires back in by Peak. And the Swiss and Americans both finishing every check here in the opening moments. Lead pass goes off the stick of Tyler Moy, brought back by Will Smith, feeds it back across. Michael McCarron with a shot that rolls wide. Mikey Asimov, back to Brady Shea. Shea with a long shot that's tipped wide out the other side. Asimov throws it back in front to O'Connor with a chance. Giannoni down. The Americans indicating they scored. Giannoni's half in the net. But
Puck
the referee
is in the crease. I can still see it.
The referee, Mikhail Holm, saying no goal.
An opportunity. Garrett Battle to get in front of the net, gets a piece of the puck out in front of Connor all by himself. And walks right into it. Giannoni. It's a tremendous save on the blocker side early on O'Connor. Here's a look at it. Oh, blocker into the pads and seal it. Giannoni hasn't had many difficult saves to make, but when called upon, obviously running a 3-game shutout streak, has had the answer.
6-time Swiss goalie of the year. There's Riyad back with it. Played back to center ice. Kukan back across to Siegenthaler.
Riyad got clipped by O'Connor, didn't get a call, and he heads off the ice.
There's Asimov with it. Rink wide to O'Connor. Sends it back across as Kukan goes back. Former Columbus Blue Jacket. In the corner for Michael McCarron. Plays it back down to Asimov. Centering pass for O'Connor missed. And Simon Canuck knocks it back to center ice to Meyer. Timo Meyer drops that back to Canuck, winding in across the line with Meyer. Going to work it back in front, bouncing puck. Meyer sent flying by Lacombe. Here's Werenski back with it. Zach Werenski ahead to Clayton Keller, the American captain. Battles it back down to Swiss zone. Giannoni out to play it. Jonas Moser. The Tampa Bay Lightning plays it back out. 11 Swiss players in the NHL this year. 4 of them scored 25 or more goals. In comes Andrighetto, shoots. Pad save made there by Swayman. The rebound just skipped away from Moser. Back comes Garland the other way. And Morgan stepped into him. Laid back down to the Swiss zone, and Fora back to pick it up. A brisk early pace here in the first period. Earlier today, the Swedes beat Denmark to capture their second straight bronze medal. Denmark in a 4th place finish, its best ever in an IIHF tournament. Fiala spins and shoots. Swayman to stop on that. Niederreiter trying to take it free. And Beniers has it back for Team USA. Matty Beniers, lead pass for Nazar busting in. And Marty stayed with him. Berchi brings it back out for the Swiss. In on Kesselring. Swiss are changing that pass, broken up by Beniers. Lead pass for Thompson. Lined up there by Glauser. And Moy back to pick it up. Moy winds through center ice. Finds Schmidt. Lead pass knocked away by the good stick of Shane Pinto, who was terrific in the semifinals for the U.S. Schmidt plays it back to Berchi. That's blocked. Team USA snapped a 12-game losing streak in the semifinals of the World Championship going back to 1934. Now stolen by Will Smith. Spins and shoots, and generally makes the stop. He'll hang out of that with a late tap from Pinto, trying to knock it free. 12:20 to go here in the first period. It's the gold medal game here in Stockholm.
Canadian chickens are raised right, without hormones or steroids. Because when you raise chickens right, you get good chicken.
Unleash your inner lion at Leo Vegas.
Good morning, Ryan. I have everything for your rider here, including your scrambled eggs.
Oh, gosh. Wow, no one makes my eggs like you, Brendan.
Actually, these are from Tim Hortons. I know how much you like them.
Love them.
So I gave them your extremely specific recipe.
Oh, did you? 2 freshly cracked eggs, expertly scrambled with crispy hash browns, sausage crumble, creamy chipotle sauce, cooked over freshly harvested organic lava.
They skipped the lava part, but yeah.
Wow, doesn't affect the taste at all.
I'm so glad.
From my rider to Tim's menu, try my new scrambled eggs loaded breakfast box.
Back here at Avicii Arena in Stockholm. 5th time this arena has played host to games at the World Hockey Championship. This iconic building opened in 1989. And next year will feature games in the Swedish Hockey League for the first time in 5 years. Djurgården earned promotion in the SHL from the Allsvenskan. Will Smith works free in the corner. Smith pops that back. Now played back in. In the corner, Pinto for Smith, trying to move that back in front. And Rhea had his pocket pick there by Smith. He was taken down. Kuka up ahead for Ken Yeager. Moves it across the American line. Is bumped off the puck by Zeke Boyum. He's won gold in the last 2 World Junior Championships for the U.S. The Americans have 10 players who have won World Junior gold. 6 of them have won one within the last 2 years.
And that's been part of the conversation for this U.S. team. They know that no American team has won the World Championship. But these players know that they win best on best all the time.
Under 18s?
Because they've done it for the last 3 or 4 years, so many of them at the under 18s and the World Juniors. They want to be the team that shows that they can get it done at this tournament.
Pinto wins that faceoff. Goche swipes at it. And scooped back up by Meyer. Plays it back around to Dennis Mulligan. Mulligan hammered down in the corner by Werenski. A penalty coming to Team USA.
Werenski got the first one for the hit on Mulligan.
It's a cross-checking call to Werenski, who's jawing with the Swiss on his way to the penalty box.
So, my question is this. I'm not saying it's not a cross-check, but Mulligan stops and bends over. Where is Werenski supposed to hit him? He's shorter than him. He can't make his stick go any lower. He didn't really drive him into the boards. He just made contact with his stick. Yes, he went in awkwardly, but so much of that awkwardness was a result of his own stop-up. Either way, 11 goals on the power play, the best power play in the tournament for Switzerland. And Malkin stays out and goes to work with the man advantage.
Finn Andrighetto leads the way with 4 of them.
There's been one good chance in the game to O'Connor. In the first 8.5 minutes, Switzerland looking for their first good luck.
Face off, one back to Kukan. Quarterbacks the Swiss power play. Andrighetto feeds that down to Niederreiter. Pass back for Andrighetto, missed and goes back down the ice. American penalty killers have allowed just 3 goals on 26 opposition attempts. Andrighetto for Mulligan. And that plays offside at the American line. The Swiss did not score in the power play in the round-robin game against the United States.
Been a disjointed start. Niederreiter did some good work in the semifinals. The man advantage in front of the net, where he always is, but Couple turnovers, bad zone entry, 30 seconds gone on the initial power play.
Now the control off the draw. Jackson Lacombe scored a key goal for the U.S. in their semifinal win against the Swedes. The Swedes had all kinds of momentum, so he scored to make it 5-2. Kukan drops that back, and the hop Swiss chant goes up here in Stockholm. Fiala swings it back across to Andrighetto for Kukan, and the Swiss get set up. Fiala for Kukan, back across to Malgin. For Kukan. Back to Malgin. Works it back to Kukan. Goes back to Fiala with a shot that was blocked by Shea. That took a fight out of Brady Shea. Andrighetto back around for Niederreiter. Pass too far for him. Malgin reaches for it. Chips it back to Niederreiter. Slammed down by Shea. Andrighetto in for Fiala. That's poked away by Shea. Andrighetto back for Fiala. Fiala to Andrighetto for Kukan. Back to Andrighetto for Kukan. Andrighetto looks for a lane and fires. Swayman save. Rebound. Niederreiter turned away. Loose puck. Scooped up by Fiala. Swayman down. And the bank back to Andrighetto misses and goes back down the ice.
What a save on the rebound by Swayman.
Time winding down in the Swiss power play. Past the midway point of the opening period. And away comes Fiala. Tiptoes across the line. Plays it back for Moser. Back across the Riot with a shot that goes wide and rattles back down the ice. Four shots for the Swiss on that power play. Now Meyer tries to center it. Scooped back up by Cooley. He finds Pinto. In with Keller. And Shane Pinto banks it back down as Keller goes after it. Clayton Keller from Chesterfield, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis, part of that incredible wave of players coming out of St. Louis in recent years, including, of course, the Kachuk brothers. Now pumped by Werenski. Swayman up to play it, banks it back for Kesselring. And Thompson back after it. 16 states represented on the American roster, including Alaska, the home of the goaltender Jeremy Swayman. Back at the point is Werenski. For O'Connor, picked off by Berchi. Lead pass goes to Schmid. Sandro Schmid winds in, shoots, and Swayman knocks that away. Now Berchi reaching for it, trying to knock that free for Schmid. Up the center ice it goes. That's knocked down by Eyssimont. Being watched there by Marty. And Karen works back in. And Tangle all on the boards as O'Connor pushes that ahead. Move back across. Peak finds Shea, moves it and shoots. That was blocked by Boy. Shea back on it, fired that wide. O'Connor slings it back in front. That's picked up by Berchi. And drop back to Michael Fora. Niederreiter. Rink wide pass to Fiala. The MVP of last year's tournament. Now Fiala moves in, shoots. That's gloved by Swayman. And he'll hang on. And now some more ill will breaks up in front of the American goaltender, who quickly exits the scene. 7:35 to go in the first. No score in the gold medal game.
Bye. About to blow the spot. Keep it live with the 1-2. That's how we do. What it is, lean back. Let them know what time it is. Get down when we come around. Yeah.
Dad, I can't kill dragons.
But you will.
Our parents' war is about to become ours. What are you gonna do about it?
Probably something stupid.
They've killed hundreds of us!
And we killed thousands of them!
There's something else on their island. You don't know what you're up against.
Pick up! How to Train Your Dragon. In theaters June 13th. Get tickets now.
Shots to 6-3 Switzerland in a scoreless first period. The gold medal game of the 2025 World Hockey Championship. We will have a different champion for the 4th straight year. The Swiss host next year, then Germany in 2027, France in 28, and Paris and Lyon. Hello. Pinto lifts it back out. Next year's in Freiburg and Zurich in Switzerland, which perhaps more than any country has improved over the last 20 years. That play knocked out the line by Meyer, but Gautier's got it back for the U.S. That pass goes off Siegenthaler's stick over the glass and out of play.
Niederreiter out on the power play, going to get involved. You rarely see big hits on the penalty kill. There's one there. Brady Shea unloads on him, but this chance for Niederreiter in front. The rebound's right on his stick. Any elevation, and it's in. Swayman, the reaction and stretch. Beautiful to take away a glorious chance for Nino Niederreiter.
Jeremy Swayman, a 4th-round pick of Boston in 2017. 14 goalies were drafted before him at that draft. In comes Nazar, centers it. That's tipped wide by Beniers. Taken in by Amdul. Now Glauser's lost his helmet. He's got to leave the ice. Fora comes on. Moser high off the glass and back to center as Werenski picks it up. Zach Werenski averaging over 25 minutes a game for the U.S. finds Beniers. Fora lost his balance. Now scooped up by Ambu. Fiala. After Ambu, that pass missed him. The lead pass goes to Thompson. Tage Thompson moves in, gets a step and fires, put that wide. Bounces back, Werenski looking for it. Rhea. Back around to Marty. And Fora back with it. Fora. Lines back in, drops that back to Riyad. Riyad shoots, knocked away by Swayman. And the puck goes up and out. 5:58 to go in the 3rd. Still no score in the gold medal game.
Hey, it's your gut instinct. Always one step ahead. I know what's up and who's up. So next time the game's on and it feels game-changing, bet your way with Betway.
With diabetes, progress is knowing how my food choices impact my glucose. The Freestyle Libre 2 sensor tracks my glucose in real time. Confident choices for more control of my life. For me, this is progress. Talk to your doctor.
How come we never talk about the Canadian dream? It's not like we don't know how to dream. So what is it? Are we too polite to flaunt it? Or do we prefer to just live it? You see, the Canadian dream isn't some faraway ideal we only talk about. It's all around us. It's on the highways, in the hospitals, and the arenas that bring us closer. The Canadian dream lives on every corner of this land. And at Tim's, we're proud to fuel it.
Still lots of people wearing the Swedish Trey Kroner jerseys in here, but a whole bunch of red and white clad Swiss have taken over the building last couple of days. Here's Dean Kukan. Shoots! Punched away by Swayman. Siegenthaler back around to Moy. Now Perchi banks it back around to Moy. Born in La Jolla, California. American dad, Swiss mom. Went to Harvard for 4 years. Now playing for Rapperswil in the Swiss League.
So he's from San Diego, went to Harvard, then to Switzerland.
Yes.
He's seen some good spots in his life.
To the mountains of Switzerland, too.
Well done, Tyler Boyd, and having a good tournament. 12 points to lead Switzerland.
Siegenthaler snaps that pass ahead, chipped in by Meyer, and racing after it is Malgin. Malgin. Back across to Enriqueto. That pass knocked away by Swayman. Now Glauser is shot that was blocked, and O'Connor back the other way. Chips that, race him off. And Giannoni plays that around, and McCarron picks it off for Team USA. Now Glauser back with it. Enriqueto back with it. Back to Moser, a long shot. Swayman save, and Meyer can't reach the rebound.
A good battle in front. Andrew Peak doing a job on Timo Meyer, which is not easy to do. Puck is wristed in by Moser, but watch the battle. 20-28 front. Fighting. Oh, gets a piece of Peak's leg. It's kind of get a sense of the grappling that goes down on around in front of the net. Either trying to get in front or clear the guy out in front. Meyer is a tough guy to move.
Face-off won by Beniers. And Lacombe brings it up. 14 goals this year for Jackson Lacombe with the Anaheim Ducks. Thompson shoots that deflected, and Giannone made a good stop there. Now Lacombe fires it wide. 9-3, the shots on goal in favor of the Swiss. Americans haven't had one in nearly 8 minutes. Niederreiter chips it back down to the American zone as Beniers goes back to pick it up. Matty Beniers snaps that pass ahead for Nazar. Frank Nazar leading the U.S. in points. Brings it back around, and Niederreiter waiting for it for the Swiss. Niederreiter drops it back to Glauser. And the pass ahead by Tim Bernie picked off at center ice, and back comes Cutter Gauthier. Giannone back for it. Now Bernie. He's tied up by Pinto. Moved out to Riyad. Riyad tied up. And picked up by Ken Yeager. Glauser back on it. And flip ahead for Riyad. With Canuck. That's knocked away. Riyad back on it, but Cutter Gauthier takes that away. Moves it back to center. Knocked down by Will Smith. Then Smith. Up for Pinto. Chips it back down to the Swiss zone. Siegenthaler. Out to the middle of the ice to Riyad, who chops it back down to the American zone. And away comes Andrew Peak. Off the defenseman, fires it back in. Under Garland. Works that free for Keller. Now Clayton Keller on it, being watched by Kukan. Keller back with it. Throws it back with a deflected puck. Giannone made a great stop there on Cooley and tight. And Peak drops it back for Shea. Keller. Up ahead for Peak, who fires it down, and Giannone. Here's that back for Bernie. Pass it center ice to Moy. Has a quick look. Keeps that down, and Swayman gets a glove on that as Meyer was bearing in again.
Meyer, again, get used to him stirring it up. The first time we've seen the U.S. break down Switzerland off a cycle. And Logan Cooley beats his guy to the front of the net. Watch Giannone with his left hand. Watch Giannone's left hand go out and attack Cooley and grab his stick. I might not have the rebound, but I'm not going to let you get it. He dives on his blade to make sure he can't get there, which is a heads-up decision. And a frustrating one for an offensive player.
A passive-aggressive of you. And now Andrighetto takes down Lacombe, and a penalty coming to the Swiss. Thompson chips it in, and with 2:16 to go in the period, the United States will get its first power play.
Andrighetto gets caught reaching to get the puck and gets
minor penalty tripping
right underneath the blade of Jackson Lacombe, and he goes down. Obvious call for Andrighetto to take.
I mentioned the fact the Swiss have 11 power play goals to lead the tournament. The Americans right behind them with 9.
First and second in the tournament, or in the final in the power play. Makes sense.
Tage Thompson and Connor Garland lead the way for the U.S. with 3 power play goals each. Face-off, won by Yeager. Now, Cooley's got to leave the ice. His helmet came off. And hopping on is Nazar. Kicks it back across to Werenski. Nazar winds in, bumped up the puck by Glauser, and sent down the ice by Schmid.
Cooley wants his helmet off because they can make a change now and get him back on the ice, but without a helmet to put on his head, he's stuck on the bench.
Thompson back in. That plays offside at the Swiss line, and Cooley can come back on, retrieve his bucket, and rejoin the power play.
It is a bit of the challenge for this rule is when it gets knocked off. If you want to get right back on there, you either have to try to put on a teammate, which he did. He put on Matty Beniers, did not fit properly. So now he gets his own. And the official job is not to go collect it and give it back. If it's convenient, they can scoop it, they will. But if not, then you're just out of luck until a whistle. 41-year-old Andrew Ambuel playing face-off games with 21-year-old Logan Cooley. Amazing.
Ambuel playing his 151st World Championship game. Garland drops it back to Cooley. Here's Cooley to Keller. Back in front to Garland. Feeds across to Thompson. Drops it back. And a hard shot there by Werenski. Knocked away by Giannone. Cooley back around to Keller. Clayton Keller to Logan Cooley. Brings it back to Garland. Drops that back to Werenski. Cross he goes to Keller. Werenski back to Thompson. Now Garland back with it. Heels back in the corner. Looks back for Werenski. Back across to Keller. Bank that back in front. Broken up by Malgin. And scooped back up by Cooley. Back down to Keller. Behind the goal, Thompson feeds it back in front. Put wide by Keller. 30 seconds to go in the U.S. power play. 45 seconds to go in the period. Thompson to Werenski. Back to Thompson. Shoots. That's off the foot of Fora. Move back. Werenski feeds it across to Keller's got some time. Shoots. Giannone makes the save up high. Keller back to Cooley. And that pass for Thompson, who's all teed up, but Ambuel got a stick on that. Back around to Keller. Dying second to the power play. Cooley to Keller. Takes a return pass and fires. Giannone makes the sharp angle save. Now fed back. Thompson a shot. Stopped by Giannone. Here's Keller back. He fires and Giannone makes the save and hangs on. 4 shots for the U.S. on the power play. Remains scoreless.
Took a long time to start getting some good looks for the first unit, but they got a few. Nice pass. Keller. Oh, hits a blocker that's not even facing him on the angle. And there's a entire group of Swiss defenders that couldn't quite get it out to Giannone. Rock solid save and rebound control when he needed it.
7.5 seconds to go here in the opening period. Off the draw, here's Berchi with it. And a very even first period comes to an end. The shots 11-9 in favor of the Swiss. Each team had a power play. There is no score after the opening 20 minutes at the gold medal game of the 2025 World Hockey Championship.
Good morning, Ryan. I have everything for your rider here, including your scrambled egg.
Well, you know, Giannone is not allowed a goal in his last 3 starts for the Swiss. Not allowed one here tonight either. And Jeremy Swayman continues his strong play. No score through the opening period. Zach Werenski played 9.5 minutes in the United States, the most that any player has played in any period in the tournament.
Penalty kill, he was out there for the full couple minutes. Power play, he was out there for the full couple minutes. And the good thing about Werenski, he never looks like he's going to be tired.
Right.
He always has extra in the tank.
There it goes. And the team start this second period 5-on-5. Timo Meier drops that down for Siegenthaler across for Andrighetto. That pass missed. Icing called against the Swiss. Switzerland has never won a gold medal at the World Championship or any other top-level IIHF competition. The United States last won gold in this tournament in 1933 as a World Championship. The United States, of course, won gold in the 1960 and 1980 Olympics. There were no World Championships in those years.
So they were the world champion, but didn't win the world championships.
Okay, there you go. That's parsing it.
That's what we do.
Werenski, lead pass for Keller. Moves it on Siegenthaler. Now brought back up by Dennis Malgin, who played briefly for Florida and Toronto in the NHL. Shoots that, dribbles down to Swayman, and he'll hang on.
I think one of the last hurdles for this Swiss team to get over is that mental barrier that in the biggest game, they can elevate, be better, and win.
In 2013, they came here to Stockholm. They had a 9-0 record going into the gold medal game. The Swedes beat them handily. In 2018, they lost to Sweden in the shootout in the gold medal game. And last year, it's a tight game. A one-goal game in the third period when David Pasternak scored the 2-0 goal.
And the idea being that throughout the round robin and preliminary rounds, Switzerland is playing somewhere closer to their best because they are used to each other, because the way they prepare, the way they approach the tournament. But then at the end, when the other teams have further room to go, does Switzerland.
Nazar has that knocked away. Now Fiala back with the MVP last year. Drops it back to Andrea Glauser. Sees across to Niederreiter with a shot that goes off Shea, back to Fiala, who hacked that wide. Bouncing puck at the side of the goal for Peak. He finds Frank Nazar. The first out of the scene in the second half with Chicago this year. Now Benier drops it back to Thompson with a shot. He put that high.
That caught mesh.
Yeah. And a late call by the linesman will bring a halt to the proceedings. 1 minute and 15 seconds in.
Thompson won't like that shot at all because this is where he loves to shoot from. Off wing, he's got a 6.5-foot long stick that he can really flex and whip, and he had time to lean on it, and he sailed it way over the net.
44 goals this year for Tage Thompson. Came here with a point to prove.
Point being, put me on the Olympic team. You need goals? I'll give them for you.
Bill Guerin, the Team USA Olympic GM, has been here, both in Herning and here in Stockholm.
Also showing he can play both center and wing at this level, which is always an advantage.
Berchi chips it back to center ice. And Tyler Moy couldn't reach it. Now fired back in by Cutter coach Jay Giannone, out to play it. Fora trying to work that free. Picked out by Moy. Marty. Up ahead to Sandro Schmid. Plays for Freiburg in the Swiss League, one of the host cities next year. As Shane Pinto picks it back out. Moy had a stick broken in half as Will Smith threads it ahead for Cutter Gauthier with a backhand shot. And that's stopped by Giannone. Berchi back with it. Christoph Berchi also plays in Freiburg. Moves around for Kukan. With Siegenthaler. That's chipped back down by Jaeger, or so it looked.
I almost thought I heard a tick on Jaeger's stick, but
he looks back at the official, but icing's the call.
That's what Siegenthaler is saying. You can hear it as much as you need to see it. Yeah, it started changing direction. It's very subtle, but we'll see if the U.S. can do anything with this offensive zone face-off now.
Garland for the face-off against Jaeger. Face-offs were 8-8 in the first period. Everything was even.
Yeah.
Now Vlasic, a long shot that goes wide. Kesserling holds the line and shoots. It's blocked by Berchi and back down to the American zone. And the Swiss will start to change here as Kukan goes back to the rolling puck.
Good skates. Wow.
Kukan lines back out, threads up for Riyad with a shot. And Jeremy Swayman able to make the save.
How about that curl and go by Kukan? He's getting pressure by Logan Cooley. Drops him. And then a quick catch and release, Damian Riyad. That was a really nice rush play. That flicker had a little Phil Kessel in it. Oh, drag and pull to Damian Riyad.
And Draghetto steps in for the draw, and Draghetto plays for Zurich in the Swiss League. 5 members of that Zurich team are here with the Swiss. They won the Swiss League championship again and also won the Champions League this year. And Draghetto moves in. Malgin trying to work that free. Klauser plays it back. Long shot by Meyer. And Andrighetto knocked off the puck by Kesselring. Now picked up by Meyer. Buys some time in the corner, moves back out. Meyer throws it towards the goal, tipped wide by Malgin. Andrighetto. Malgin trying to reach it, and Nazar back with it. Lead pass to Beniers, moving in. Glauser knocked Beniers off stride. Hannes Moser, the Tampa Bay Lightning, up for Andrighetto. And that's icing again against the Swiss, and again, they don't like the call.
Well, that's a better call. Andrighetto handled off his skate, and on his way down, but we're still not even halfway through the game. But you can feel the tension building.
Right.
There's so little space for either side out there. Every icing call, every face-off violation is drawing the whistles and the ire of the fans, but also the benches and coaches.
8 gold medal games in history have gone past regulation. There's no shootout anymore. They played as a winner in the gold medal game.
Early to go down that road, but it's not wrong.
Off the draw, that shot taken by Eyssimont, who gives Moser a shot after the whistle. And that's a little Tampa Bay violence, although Eyssimont was on to Seattle in the NHL.
Formerly Tampa on Tampa. It's a really good play by Moser. Get out, get low. It's amazing how guys just shake off all those shots. Don't hit him in the calf. There's not a lot of pads in your calf.
Off the face-off. O'Connor can't reach it. Brought up by Niederreiter. And Niederreiter pumps that back in. Fiala's got a tag back up. He's arguing with the linesman. And here is Werenski. To McCarron. Banks it down. Giannone will gobble that up with McCarron lurking dangerously. Now jousting with Marty, among others.
When you talk about... McCarron better be careful, though. You don't want to take one. That's an NHL conversation. Michael McCarron, Kevin Fiala.
The two referees, Michael Campbell and Mikhail Holm, two of the most experienced international officials in the tournament. Mikhail Holm does call it by the book.
So in that last instance, I would tell Mike McCarron, that's one. You don't get a free poke at someone's face on a whistle. Again, you do it again, it's you and you alone going to the box. And you can behave accordingly. After one break.
Pinto for the face-off against Schmidt. The Swiss really giving the linesman of this game. Siegenthaler. Made back around and scooped up by Schmidt. Up the center ice to Moy, and was knocked down by Pinto, busting back in. Along with Smith. Shane Pinto drops it back. Lacombe with a shot. Giannone makes the save and squeezes that.
Yeah, Shane Pinto has been doing a little bit of everything for the U.S. Plays center field out there at the red line. Makes a good catch. Goes laterally. This pass maybe the hair in front of Lacombe. But 14 goals for Jackson Lacombe last year with Anaheim. He has an offensive side to his game that is very good.
Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Making his first World Championship. Peak with a shot that goes off the foot of Andrighetto and wide and brought back by Meyer. Timo Meyer lays out ahead, and Malgin almost off to the races.
Brady Shea reached, and if he didn't get it, he was in trouble.
Now moved back in front for Smith with a shot. Giannone makes the save. Good pass there by Gauthier. Pinto back on it, bouncing around in front. Held to the line by Peak. Andrew Peak spins that back to Pinto. In for Gauthier, shoots. You don't need to stop. Kind of an awkward leaning save. It's moved back out by Meyer. Shea fires it back in. Now Glauser finds Meyer inside the American zone. In comes Timo Meyer. Knocked off the puck by Vlasic. And Thompson moves ahead with Nazar. Around Meyer. Tage Thompson's got some room. Trying to throw that back in front. That was blocked by Marty. And it's Moser. In behind Vlasic. And a race for it. Icing called again on the Swiss.
And it's been a physical game to the surprise of nobody. You don't become an excellent defensive team, which both of these clubs are, without being physical. And that's hits, and that's puck battles, and that's front of the net. That's even neutral zone face-off, whatever it takes. Everybody finishing every hit they can.
Here's Werenski. He shoots through the traffic, hit a leg. Scooped back up by Malgin. And away comes Malgin. Across he goes to Fiala, busting in. The Swiss are changing after the icing. And Fiala rings it around. Niederreiter leaves that back for Ambuel. Back to Fiala. Now Fiala back down to Ambuel. Ambuel works that free for Niederreiter. Banks it back. Long shot by Fora. That's blocked. A chance now for Nazar in behind Fora. Nazar in, and a penalty coming to Fora. Will it be a penalty shot? Yes. Fora arguing, but Frank Nazar draws a penalty, and now any American can take the shot.
Team Switzerland, number 45, minor penalty hooking. Penalty shot awarded.
Nazar earns this with the block. And the poke past Fora. And he gets out just about to shoot it. It's the hook into the hand as well as the body. That's not a stick lift. The leverage on the hip into the hands.
Ryan Warsofsky is asking the question here, who can we use?
And Nazar is getting called back to the bench.
So the first question was, does that be someone on the ice? The answer is no. It could be anyone.
Nazar is getting the call. How about this? I like Nazar's attitude. I earned it.
I want to take the shot.
And I want somebody to take it, but Connor Garland steps in.
Chance for the U.S. to take the lead. Connor Garland on the penalty shot. Moves in on Giannoni. Garland winds in. Stop.
Well, you put your best guy out there and you hope. Garland throws the first fake right here, and Giannoni is all over it. All over it. The second Garland goes back to his right, Giannoni's got him smothered. There is nowhere for Connor Garland to put that puck to get past Giannoni. And at this point, Frankie Nazar is thinking, I probably could have done that.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. I've been in that situation in a playoff game. I went out and took it, and I probably shouldn't have, because it was on me. I managed to score, so I'm telling the story, but...
I don't think you would have told the story if you didn't.
No, I would not have.
Totally knocks that down high stick.
But there's this element, like, I earned it, I drew it. Frankie Nazar is actually the U.S.'s leading point getter in this tournament, so it's not like he's not produced. Connor Garland just, Giannoni locked right in. So, yeah, you go with the numbers. You know who you're going to go with if this happens. It's sort of predetermined.
You've practiced shootouts.
You have numbers from
the NHL
and college and wherever else everyone's playing.
Now brought back by Canuck. That dribbles down and knocked away by Werenski. He might play more than 9:27 in this period. Remember, he took a penalty in the first, so here's Werenski back on it. Lays it in for Cooley. Chips it across to his Utah teammate, Clayton Keller. Brought back in by Werenski. He's got room, centers it. Bounces back to Lacombe. In for Cooley. Lays it back down. Werenski, rink wide pass picked up by Kukoc, and the Swiss are off to the races. Brought in by Kukoc. Swings it back around. Got it back up by Berchi. Patrick Berchi. Here's off the puck by Cooley. Now it goes off a stick. Bounces right back, and the shot by Moser, or by Moy is blocked. Now Glauser. Side of goal. Schmidt with a jam play. Swayman down. Loose puck goes to Keller, who knocks that away. Kevin, the Swiss are off to the races. Brought in by Kukoc. Swings it back around. Got it back up by Berchi. Patrick Berchi. Here's off the puck by Cooley. Now it goes off a stick. Bounces right back, and the shot by Moser, or by Moy is blocked. Now Glauser. Side of goal. Schmidt with a jam play. Swayman down. Loose puck goes to Keller, who knocks that away. Stopped by Keller. He finds Werenski looking to center ice. Glauser gloves it down. And Glauser hammers it back down to the American zone. Cooley for Gauthier. Gauthier winds in, centers it. That was knocked away by Berchi. Played back out by Schmid. Shea back across to Pete. And in comes Gauthier. Heather Gauthier moves in. Around Glauser, shoots. And Germany got a piece of that. Glauser back with it. That was chopped down by Will Smith, but with a high stick. And play is called. 12:31 to go in the second period. No score in the gold medal game in Stockholm.
So smooth. So smooth. It's like, so smooth.
Try the Barber Club Beard and Skin Oil, infused with cedarwood oil. It grooms the beard and relieves dry skin, nourishes and softens your beard. Iconic. That's why we're #1 in the world. Just join the Barber Club, co-crafted with barbers by L'Oreal Men Expert. Yeah, we're worth it.
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. Come experience the flame grill difference with our $5 meal deal.
Unleash your inner lion at Leo Vegas.
Back here in Stockholm with the 2025 World Hockey Championship. It has been a triumph for smaller nations in so many respects. Austria made the quarterfinals for the first time in 30 years. Denmark knocked off Canada in the quarters and posted its best finish ever in an IIHF tournament, 4th here. Both Kazakhstan, France relegated, but Slovenia and Hungary survived. Hungary for the first time avoided relegation in an appearance in the top division. Norway gave the Americans a scare in the preliminary round. They were down 5-1, forced overtime before Tage Thompson scored the OT win. Marty, big hit there on Beniers. Cora back after it. Malgin up ahead for Meyer. Knocked down by Marty. Back ahead for Timo Meyer. Goes that towards the goal. Swayman swatted that away. Andrighetto back on it. Back around to Malgin. Puts it back around to Meyer. Back for Siegenthaler. That check was off the skate of Nazar. Shea bumped there by Andrighetto. Move back out by Nazar. Across to Thompson. He's poked check. Beniers plays it back across to Nazar. Drops it back to Vlasic. Here comes Nazar. Across to Beniers with a shot that goes wide. Vlasic back with it. Plays it back down to Thompson. Tage Thompson shoots. Giannoni makes the stop and quickly grabs the rebound.
Leonardo Giannoni has been so sharp in this game. Two really good chances. O'Connor, a really good one. Logan Cooley as well in the power play. Keller. And he is reading the play so quickly, including the penalty shot, where these tough saves look pretty pedestrian because he's waiting on the puck. Not because he's so fast, but because he reads it so well.
919 save percentage for E.B. Zug this year in the Swiss League. Now swept down towards the goal, and Giannoni knocked that away.
Also very active with his stick in front of the net. You just saw him sweep one away there. The Americans need to be aware of whether it's a pass attempt or a stick handle across crease. Giannoni will attack the puck with his stick.
The United States out shooting Switzerland 8-4 here in the period.
Swiss have lost their ability to pass the puck on their own end. It's defend and flip, defend and ice, defend and change. They need to break up plays and move them out in control so they can attack the offensive zone.
Garland wins that face-off, but it bounces by Vlasic and back down to the American zone. Alex Vlasic, Illinois native, playing for the Chicago Blackhawks in the NHL. He'll have a new coach when he gets back in Jeff Blashill, former head coach of Team USA at the World Championship. Pass snap rink wide by Niederreiter for Moser. As Moser flips that wide of the goal. Fiala back on it. It's down to Ambuel. This pass picked off by Kesselring. And Kesselring up ahead to Cooley. Fires that back down to the Swiss zone as the Americans change. Marty has a look ahead for Ambuel. In comes Anders Ambuel. Backhand shot stopped by Swayman. he'll hang on to that.
You always want to be aware on a dump in with everyone changing. Someone has to go out, especially in the second period, and hang on the far side of the ice. Just so that stretch pass can't occur till the defenders jump off the bench and get over for a cover. And Buell throws a backhand in there. Swayman makes easy work of.
He continues to outweight the IIHF Hall of Fame, which requires you to be retired for 3 years to be inducted.
Playing second line center on the team in the gold medal game, so he still can play.
He's played in 5 Olympics, don't rule out a 6th.
But it is worth noting, Switzerland lost Nico Hischier early in the tournament, and that to him. Andreas Ambuel has taken his position in the middle before that. Ambuel started on the wing. And what a difference Hischier could make in a game like this.
There is Hischier looking on.
There they are, the extra Swiss players. That's a helpless feeling. Watching when you want it so bad, but you're not able to control the outcome.
We mentioned they've lost 3 gold medal games since 2013. They've never had their full complement of players. This year, Roman Josi was injured late in the year for Nashville.
Now, you'd have the Americans saying, we don't really have our full complement either, so we're not.
Right. A knock back after it. Kerensky's third attempt knocked down by Siegenthaler. That's broken up by Asimov. And Siegenthaler plays it back in. That's the midway point of the second period. Still no score. Shots are 19-16, Team USA. McCarron. Lead pass to O'Connor. Siegenthaler back on to Berchi. Asimov back on it. Slides that back at the line, but it missed Shea and goes back down the ice. Shea. The peak. Lead pass for Gauthier winding in. Cutter Gauthier, a shot that goes wide.
Yeah, he shoots everything. Cutter go. I mean, he's got a great shot, but he shoots everything in the offensive zone.
Got it down by Berchi. Corrals it back. In comes Berchi. Long shot, gloved by Swayman. And he'll squeeze that. And there is still no score in the gold medal game here in Stockholm.
Travel. It's gone from being an adventure to a checklist. But the world is still full of wonder. You just need a better way to find it. Introducing Airbnb Experiences. Master ramen with an award-winning chef. Dive into underground jazz with a renowned bassist. Or see Notre Dame with her. She helped restore it, by the way. Don't just see a place. Experience it.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound. And I need you.
Drink in more of summer with Tim's new Oreo Mocha Ice Caps. With Oreo in every sip. Perfect for that summer romance you longed for. Or that summer fling with the pool you longed for. Either way, drink in summer with Tim's new Oreo Mocha Ice Caps.
Who's going to break through? The United States winning its first World Championship since 1933, or the Swiss winning their first gold medal ever, not just at the World Championship, but at a top-level IIHF event, men's or women. So much frustration for both these countries in recent years. For the United States, the wall was the semifinal. Swiss, of course, the 3 close calls in gold medal games. Face-off won by Beniers. And Shea rattles it off the glass, up and out of play, and the face-off will stay in the American zone.
The U.S. team has done a really good job of supporting in their own end, so that there aren't big gaps between the defensemen and the forwards. One is making the outlets a priority and not chasing offense.
Another face-off win by Beniers, and this time Shea puts it into a bench. And guess where the face-off's going?
The problem with that short side ring around the glass is that on this bench, this ring, the glass stops at the top of the circle.
Right.
The benches are so long in this building. They're 20 feet longer than an NHL bench.
And there's also a massive space between them.
Plus the big camera bay in the middle, so you don't have as much glass to ride on the way out of the zone.
Well, we've got 20 skaters dressed for international games as opposed to 18 in the NHL. Face off, one back to Glauser to Moser. Fiala with a shot, swimming the save on that. Here's Moser centering it. And Beniers chips that up and out. There'll be another face off in the American zone.
And all these face offs, finally, Switzerland wins one clean. They're able to get a shot. Not a great one, but still chipping their way back into a level playing field in the second period.
Now we'll switch sides.
Switch face off, guys. Abio coming on his weaker side. The righty.
Fiala. Wins that battle for the puck. Backhands that towards the goal. It was blocked by Thompson. Now Vlasic back with it. At the line, held by Glauser. Shoots, and Swayman makes that stop. And there'll be another face-off in the American zone. We're going to wear out the paint in these dots.
Yeah, the U.S. would tell you that we're okay because we're defending well and pucks are getting flicked up into the net. Nothing's really dangerous. Nothing's really a threat. But it is a test of your composure. It's a scoreless game. It's a gold medal game. We're over halfway through. And, you know, any mistake could be the only one that's made. In that sense, it gets more stressful.
Hagen versus Cooley, controlled by the Swiss. Kesselring back on it. Kick back out, in comes Logan Cooley. And Rigetto goes back with him as they collide in the corner. And Rigetto played in the NHL with Montreal and Colorado. Glauser, a big hit on Keller.
How much difference was that than Werenski's crash check? Pretty similar.
Chopped back in by Meyer. Back goes Kesselring for it. Out to center ice, that's skipped by everyone. And icing called once again against Team USA. The defensive zone face-offs are piling up.
Well, they got their two Redwoods out there on defense. Kesselring and Vlasic. Kesselring 6'5". Vlasic 6'6". That's a lot of ground cover between those two rangy defensemen. And both surprisingly good skaters for their size.
To the lineman, not up. Played back in by Fora. Kesselring puts it over the head of Riata back down the ice. And stop me if you heard this before. The face-off going back down to the American zone.
It's not like the U.S. are winning the face-offs every single time this happens. They're 50-50 on them. Let's take another crack at it.
Vlasic. Pass across to Garland. And Kukan got his back up. Cooley spilled. As Canuck comes back in. And Cooley's limping here for the U.S. Puts it back down to the Swiss zone. And Logan Cooley makes his way off slowly. Siegenthaler. Lifts out to the American line. Bounces off Schmidt. Played back in by Jaeger. The Swiss have to tag up. Werenski fires it back down, gets by Giannone. McCarron back on it. Michael McCarron. O'Connor plays it back around. Werenski holds the line and feeds that back in deep. Siegenthaler shot up by O'Connor. Now Berchi chops at it, but the wall was sealed by Lacombe. Berchi keeps battling with him. Poke free by Siegenthaler. Now move back to Werenski. Shoots! Blocked in front, and Siegenthaler knocked the rebound away. Lacombe back on it. Plays it back around to O'Connor. McCarron gets free. Away from Berchi. Banked back by Gauthier. Lacombe to Orensky. All kinds of traffic in front. Lacombe shoots. It goes off a leg. And O'Connor's stick broke in half as Lacombe comes in. Spins away from Siegenthaler. Will Smith. Back to Lacombe. Gauthier to Orensky. Gauthier shoots. That goes high. And Will Smith back with it. Now picked off by Schmidt. That little flipper bounces back in the corner as Pete goes back to pick it up. Inside 6 to go here in the second period. Still trying to pry this one open. Janis Moser for Niederreiter. Ambuel back on it. Picked up by Smith. Drops it back to Thompson. Thompson shoots! And Giannone got just a piece of that whistler from Thompson. Now Pinto with it. Shane Pinto feeds that back. The long point shot is blocked from Shea. And Fiala's got it back the other way. Rinkwine goes for Niederreiter. That was close to the line. Niederreiter back to Fiala. Niederreiter back around to Ambuel. Ambuel trying to work it free. He's down. And now Peak back on it. Being shadowed by Fiala. Ambuel lays that back in. Brady Shea fires it back down to the Swiss zone. Picked up by Meyer. Out to center ice for Andrighetto. A bouncing puck knocked away by Vlasic. And now Kesselring takes that pass from Gauthier. Chips it back down to the Swiss zone as Kesselring goes after it. Meyer intercepted that pass, but it's picked off by Beniers. Down to Nazar. Knocked away by Meyer, but held at the line by Vlasic. Takes the return pass from Beniers. And Vlasic shoots. The bouncing puck knocked away by Giannone. Nazar to Gauthier. Feeds that back. Frank Nazar drops it back. Lacombe winds and shoots. That goes off the foot of Meyer. High off the glass. The puck's still in play. Swiss thought that was out. Bora back with it. Move back to center ice. Malgin. Along with Andrighetto. Andrighetto shoots. And that goes wide. All the way back down to the Swiss zone. Siegenthaler. Up ahead for Jaeger. Pirouettes into the American zone. Played that back across. It's picked off by Werenski. Keller back on it to Werenski. Here is Kukan with it. For Siegenthaler. High off the glass. It bounces down to Lacombe. Picked up by Keller. To center ice to Garland. That was knocked away. And Jaeger flips it back for Siegenthaler. Rink wide pass to Kukan. Siegenthaler. Up ahead to Canuck. And the bouncing puck knocked away from Berchi by Lacombe. He finds Garland with it. Siegenthaler. Moser up to center ice for Berchi, who backhands it back down to the American zone. Long time between whistles here in the second period. And Shea. Up ahead to O'Connor. As McCarron comes leaping in. Banks that back around to Asimont. Berchi goes racing to it, but Shea won that race to the puck. The discarded stick is still out there. Here's Andrew Peak. Shoots. Tipped in front. That goes just wide. McCarron got a piece of that. O'Connor pivots back in the corner. Moy steps into him. The set back in front. Great chance in tight. And Asimont couldn't reach that. Now Schmid back with it. Sandro Schmid moves back in. Pink took that away. Moves it back ahead to Asimont. Walks it and fires, and Giannone makes the stop leaning. And he'll hang on. And now after the whistle, Asimont knocked down. 1:59 to go in the second period. Still no score in the gold medal game.
Visa uses state-of-the-art fraud protection worldwide. So no matter where in the world you are, you can be the traveler you want to be. With trusted security right by your side.
Don't let lunch be lousy. Go get that fresh
get to Subway. Canadian farm-raised chicken on fresh baked bread in Subway's new fiery piri-piri chicken. Subway makes it fresh like that.
Bright ideas. Mom's got it. Ruining a great song. Mom's got it. Energy to keep up even when she doesn't have time to eat right. Mom's got Ensure Protein Max 30 gram.
Imagine this is your retinol. The minute you open it, it starts to degrade. But Elizabeth Arden Retinol plus HPR ceramide capsules are sealed to keep light and air out, so the retinol is always at its freshest, visibly improving the look of lines and wrinkles in 7 days. Elizabeth Arden, the smarter retinol.
It's been a festival of hockey for 16 days in Stockholm and Herning. And now we're waiting to see how this story ends. And right now, it is very much up in the air. The shots are 23-19 U.S., 12-8 here in the second. There is no score. Swiss won the first meeting 3-0. Off the face-off, Gauthier plays that back to Lacombe, a shot that goes high. And Rigetto. Up for Malgin. In with Meyer. And Werenski throws down Malgin. Lacombe. He finds Will Smith busting it with Gauthier. Smith shoots, and Giannone got just a piece of that. Werenski back around to Smith. Smith back to Werenski. Shoots, and leg in front. Marty to the line by Werenski and back out. Werenski ranges back as Andrew Rigetto moved in on him. Beniers, rink wide pass for Gauthier. Cutter Gauthier drops it off to Nazar. Tips it on Siegenthaler, who stays with him and erases him behind the net. Beniers picks up the loose puck and drops it back. Thompson shoots. Giannone makes the stop and quickly hangs on to that.
A little more skirmishes after the whistle. As Giannone has been sharp. Late in the second period, Will Smith takes the bouncing puck over 4, and now he's in. Doesn't have the best wheels. He's going to shoot another one that just catches the top of Giannone's pad.
Will Smith and Alex Vlasic, the only two players in the American lineup who haven't scored.
He does have 7 assists in 9 games, so he's been productive, but he was an inch and a half away from opening the scoring.
Beniers was Ambule for the faceoff. And Beniers wins that, but it's picked up by Niederreiter, and a penalty coming to Tage Thompson. With 56 seconds to go in the second period, he'll go for a trip.
Team USA on the 7-2 minor penalty for tripping.
Second power play of the game coming up for Switzerland.
Thompson just overskates the puck a little bit, whipping around his stick blindly, and you can't complain about it. Takes the skates up, Niederreiter in the defensive zone, no less. So Switzerland, which hasn't really had much quality in the second period. They have 8 shots, but not many good chances, if any at all. Have a chance in the power play to open the scoring.
Malgin for the face-off. Won again by Beniers. Held the line by Kukan. Feeds it to Malgin. Andrighetto back around for Meyer. To Andrighetto. Feeds that back to Malgin. In for Andrighetto with Meyer parked in front. Kukan. Fiala. Pivots back for Kukan. Slides that down to Malgin. Kukan back across for Andrighetto to Kukan. Malgin drops it back. Fiala, hard shot that was blocked by Lacombe and sent down the ice by Beniers. Scoop back up by Kukan. 20 seconds to go in the period. Kukan gets around Lacombe. Shoots from a sharp angle. Swayman makes the stop. Lacombe got us up the rolling puck. Feed that to center ice. And finds Nazar short-headed. Fires, and Giannone gets a piece of that. Garland back on it. He shoots, tipped in front. Great chance in front of Nazar as the horn sounds. And Giannone makes the stop as the United States get 2 short-handed chances late in the second period.
think the play is gonna just end, and Nazar gets a pretty good pivot wrister off on Giannone. And then one more as the bell sounds. Well, just throwing anything that he can towards the net. Nazar, who's been dangerous in the game, tried Giannone one last time. Would have counted. Giannone turns another American chance aside.
Shots were 15-8 USA in the second period. There is no score heading for the third period of the gold medal game in Stockholm.
I can see clear.
Neither goaltender's allowed a goal yet. The shot's 28-20 USA after 2 periods of play. If they're tied up to the third, it'll be on a 3-on-3 overtime until there's a winner.
I thought you were premature going to overtime middle of the second. You were not, and you are not now. This game feels like we're already in overtime. There's just been so few offensive chances on either side. Huge power play for Switzerland to start the third period.
A minute and 4 seconds of the penalty to Tage Thompson. Second power play of the game for the Swiss. Shane Pinto plays that back for Jackson Lacombe. Zach Werenski has played 18.5 minutes in this game. That's 3 more minutes than any American and 5 more minutes than any Swiss player. Kukan drops that back to Malgin. Back across to Andrighetto. He finds Fiala. Banks it back to Kukan, and the Swiss get set up. Niederreiter. Back around to Andrighetto. That pass is picked off by Lacombe. And Brady Shea squeezes that by Kukan and back down the ice. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Kukan drops it back for Fiala. Malgin plays it back in. Pete gets there first for the U.S. And now Vlasic off the boards and back down, and that's going to about do it.
Nothing doing that minute at the start of a period. Always tough to get it going. Switzerland does nothing with it.
Glauser. Dean Senrice fans on that. Logan Cooley back with it with Thompson coming out of the box. Rink wide pass to Keller as the Americans are changing. Glauser for Canuck. Jerome Canuck moves back in on his pocket pick by Garland. Keller drops it back, and Canuck takes it right back for the Swiss. Sandro Schmid banks it back down to the American zone as Werenski goes back. Berchi stepped into him. Benier has lost the puck to Moy. Loose at the side of the goal. Werenski has it back. Now Garland swings it back down to the Swiss line. Leonardo Giannone, by the way, with a shutout streak of 221-plus minutes entering this period.
Brian Boucher's on watch.
And now spun around the corner with Andrighetto with a quick chance in front for Nazar. That stop. Moy to the line and out. We're about 16 minutes away from the modern-day record set by Pekka Rinne in 2015. And Giannone also with 4 shutouts in the tournament, tied for the modern-day league. That's since 1977, when pros were first allowed to play in the World Championship. Andrighetto. Tied up by Shea. Meyer trying to pick that free and does. Timo Meyer. Back for Fora. To Will Smith. Banks it back to Shane Pinto, and he was stripped there by Meyer. Meyer trying to thread that needle. Now Malgin has it bounce away from him. Banked back in by Smith. Christian Marty was tied up from behind by Smith. Back at the line, Lacombe with a shot, got through Giannone the save. Marty got it back up. Trying to poke that back ahead, but Gauthier broke it up at center ice. Pinto plays it back for Jackson Lacombe. Now Lacombe jumps in. He was poke checked. Fiala's got it back. Lead pass for Ambul missed as Werenski goes back. Niederreiter all over him. They collide again in the corner. Niederreiter wins that battle for the puck. Banks it back around for Ambul. Ambul feeds that back to Siegenthaler. Looks back down to Ambul. A much larger McCarron took that away from him. Up to center ice, banked back in by Drew O'Connor. And Kukan has it back across for Siegenthaler. Takes that back to center, chipped in by Riyad. And Vlasic has it back to center ice. That pass missed McCarron. Nicely called against the U.S.
Frankie Nazar has been one of the most prominent American players. Drew the penalty shot, knocks down Boy on the forecheck, and a wide open look in front. Gonna go through Bernie's feet. Wow. And only a little fortunate that that one hit him. Not sure he knew where it was.
Face off, Vlasic plays it back around for Kesselring. Out to center ice, that's chipped down by Asimov. The Americans will change now as it's picked up by Moser. Up ahead for Riyad. Riyad tries to poke that ahead. He's straightened up there by Vlasic. And Cooley has it back for the U.S. And Logan Cooley with a step now. Winds his way through center ice. Cooley in across the line. Cooley gets a step on Glauser. Pivots back in the corner. Logan Cooley moves back. Yeager stepped into him. But Cooley stays on it. And Cooley still with it. Feeds that back. Feeds back in front for Keller. Spins that back to Shea. Brady Shea. Throws that back in front. Goes off his stick. And
Moser's kicking off his skate guards.
And there's also a stray helmet out there. And Cooley back with it. What a shift he's having. Bangs that back to Shea. 5 gone here in a scoreless third period. Shea with a long shot. Ginoni save. And Canuck knocked that away from Peak. Brady Shea of the Nashville Predators. Takes center ice and fires that back down to the Swiss zone as Thompson goes after it. Marty. Back around for Meyer. Took a bad bounce off the stanchion, but Meyer got it back up. And Meyer fires that high into the corner. Got it back up by Andrighetto. Meyer goes in on Lacombe. And Noggin chips it up, and the puck goes into the American bench.
Clayton Keller gets the front of the net for the Brady Shea one-timer. And trying to get a piece. He's all by himself. He does tip it as well as fall back into Ginoni. We don't need a replay on that. That actually would have been fine. He was well outside the crease. That's where you want to stop. Good check for Keller. Probably had more time than he knew.
Off the face-off, that's whistled wide by Fiala. 35 goals this year in the NHL for Kevin Fiala. Nico Hischier also has 35 for the Swiss-born players. Cook had a long shot, tipped it front, Swayman down. Pickney grabs the rebound with Ambuel standing right there.
There was Niederreiter right in front of the net for the tip. And Kukan, who has been showing off his excellent skating ability, goes laterally and floats it in to Niederreiter. Oh, he gets all of the tip, trying to go back 5-hole. Swayman able to cover it. One of the best looks Switzerland has had in quite some time. That puck finds 5-hole 50% of the time.
Buccaneers with another face-off. Back to Lacombe for Werenski. Zach Werenski to center ice. By Siegenthaler tipped that, and Niederreiter gathers it back up. Nino Niederreiter, silver medalist 3 times at the World Championship. The only player on the Swiss roster who's been on 3 gold medal game losing teams. 2013, 2018, and last year. Kesselring. Out bad for Cutter. Gauthier is shot. And a save made by Ginoni. And he'll squeeze that. 13:34 to go here in the third period. There's still no score.
Would you rather spend your summer like this?
Hey, Jim, how's your back?
Oh, you know.
I hear ya.
Or like this?
What's happening? Welcome. Allow me to adjust your gravity.
High five.
Gravity on.
From Disney and Pixar, kick off your summer with
Elio.
You're more puny than I expected.
I could say the same about you.
On June 20th.
These are the lava tunnels. Chloe and I am not fireproof. Just get in my mouth. Actually kind of comfy in here.
Disney and Pixar's Elio. June 20th.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
Avicii Arena in Stockholm, still winning the first goal in the gold medal game between Switzerland and the United States.
It's like deja vu, but Switzerland doesn't want it to be.
No.
Last year, 0-0 after 2 with Czechia.
Yeah.
Ended up losing that game 2-0 in the gold medal game.
They lost the 2018 gold medal game in a shootout to the Swedes, a game they led 1-0 and 2-1.
Well, there's no shootouts anymore for the gold, so that it's no longer part of the equation. And the way these two teams are checking, somewhere Kent Hitchcock is just delighted with the positioning.
For Pinto. Who's behind the goal for Will Smith? He's battling for it. Centers it. And got by Kesselring and back to the American line. Whoever wins this game is going to talk about how significant it is for their program. Cooley back on it. Now losing the side of the goal. Keller plays it back for Garland. Swings it back across. Peak with a shot that's blocked. Shea with a drive. And Giannone makes the glove save with Logan Cooley standing right there.
He caught the puck and the blade of Logan Cooley's stick at the same time. He's taking everything in that trapper. Yes. Puck's bobbling around. Gets out to Brady Shea. And look at this. I got your stick. I got your glove. I'm not giving up anything. I don't know if I remember seeing this. Feels like maybe the best chance for a goal might be on a deflection. Nothing clean happening.
Here's Keller. Plays that back at the line for Peak with a shot, and Giannone knocks that away. Bounces back to center ice where Shea picks it up. Comes Clayton Keller, the American captain. Long pass in the corner. Knocked away from Cooley and brought back by Fiala. For Marty driving the middle. Long shoot in, and they'll call that offside at the American line.
Been an issue for Switzerland all game long. Just not as much pace through the neutral zone.
The highest scoring team in the tournament. Scored at least 3 times in every game.
Well, what Patrick Fisher would tell you is that they've given up 2 goals in the last 7 games.
Right.
That's what they need to do against the U.S. to try to win, and that's what they are doing. Not about the offense, it's about how much they give up. It's been not much.
Cannot. Rink wide pass to Kukan, busting in along with Yeager and Riyad. Kukan shoots, rebound loose in front, knocked away by Lacombe. Asimov. That pass batted down by Kukan, goes back to McCarron, but the play's offside at the Swiss line.
So in a game with not a lot of activity offensively, Frankie Nazar's been all over it. He blocked the shot to draw a penalty shot, was ready to take it, got pulled to the bench, wasn't allowed. At the end of the second period, a couple more good looks. And even here in the third, an excellent opportunity on Giannone. Frank Nazar, the leading scorer for Team USA coming into the game.
At the age of 21.
And he's been full value in this one.
The U.S. with the youngest roster in this tournament. That shoot in by Kesselring was blocked. Brought in by Moser with a shot at the side of the goal. Vlasic with it. Alex Vlasic. Moves it on Glauser, bumps him off the puck. Nazar plays it back around. Thompson centers it, knocked down by Glauser. And Draghetto to Glauser. And the captain snaps that rink wide to Meyer. Timo Meyer. Taken down by Vlasic. And a pick 3 by Malgin. But Beniers gets back to his feet. Rejoins the battle. Nazar. Up ahead for Thompson. Then Tage Thompson lifts it back down to the Swiss zone. Beniers goes after it. Bengals there with 4 out. Chips at the Fiala. Kevin Fiala winds out with Niederreiter and Schmid. Niederreiter back for Fiala. The pass out of his reach. Now Fiala gathers it back up. Walks it in, shoots, and Swayman makes the stop. Takes a bump from Schmid. That will draw the attention of Andrew Peeke.
Kevin Fiala has been desperate for some open ice. Give me the puck, give me some room to skate. He finally gets a bit of a rush, give and go with Niederreiter. Able to stay with it. Shea doesn't want to draw a penalty. And at this point in the game, that's the move. To the net. Might catch one of your sticks, might catch one of theirs. Give yourself a chance to get lucky.
Swiss, so the home team in this game, they have the last change. Dean wins the face-off. Picked up by Kukan. Dean Kukan. Pivots back to Riyad. Siegenthaler shoots. That's tipped high by Jaeger. Now bounces by Kukan and back down to the Swiss line. Cross to Siegenthaler through the middle for Jaeger. Chips it high off the glass as Werenski goes back. Siegenthaler. Back across to Glauser. Janis Moser. Now Lacombe knocks it down. A Hop Swiss chant goes up here in Stockholm. And Moser back with it. Midway point of the third period. Still no score. Chipped out by Meyer, and Werenski back with it. Lacombe to center ice. Knocked down by Giannone. He'll freeze that with Garland moving in.
They can't change, no whistle. Should not be a commercial break. Long shoot in, so the Swiss defenders will have to stay on the ice. Patrick Fisher has led this team for quite some time now.
Yeah,
it's a great success.
9th year as their World Championship head coach.
Ryan Warsofsky, the youngest coaches in the NHL, the youngest team in this tournament.
They've done a lot of winning together, these guys. 14 of them are from the National Team Development Program based in Michigan. And they send their top under 17 and under 18-year-old players. And that shooting from the wrong side of center ice and the face-off back down to the American zone.
Getting down to crunch time now, under 10. Scoreless gold medal game. And
8 gold medal games have gone to overtime.
And just look at the benches, and the Americans are not tense. They want the game, obviously, they're fully invested. But I don't think they're carrying the weight of the moment, maybe like the Swiss might be. Just because they don't have it, it's not quite the same yet.
A lot of the Swiss players have lost multiple gold medal games. Most recently last year to the Czechs. 9:24 to go here in the third period. The gold medal game here in Stockholm.
At Genesis, centered around you means reflecting your every need. Like respecting your time by bringing service to your doorstep with complimentary valet pickup and courtesy vehicle service. Because we believe Genesis ownership shouldn't cost any of your time. This is personalized service. This is what sets Genesis apart.
Don't let lunch be lousy. Go get that fresh. Get to Subway. Canadian farm-raised chicken on fresh baked bread in Subway's new fiery piri-piri chicken. Subway makes it fresh like that.
Canadian chickens are raised right, without hormones or steroids. Because when you raise chickens right, you get good chicken.
9:24 remaining here in the third period. Who's going to pry this thing open? We asked the question in the first period. Would be the two highest scoring teams in the tournament that would put on an offensive show, or two of the best defensive teams that would grind it right down? Well, you got your answer. Both teams averaging 5 goals a game. but not against each other, as that puck goes high off the glass.
And this will be coming up on 6 periods for the U.S. that they've played Switzerland and have not scored a goal.
Right.
They met in the preliminary round. Switzerland won that game 3-0. Now, the Americans will tell you they didn't play well that game. That was probably their worst game of the tournament.
Their third game of the tournament.
That's a long time with that much talent not to find a goal.
But a bit of a wobble for them. They lost that game to Switzerland. The next game, they had the 5-1 lead on Norway, which evaporated in the third period. They won that game in overtime. Then they took off. And a dominant win over the Czechs in the last round robin game really propelled them. Michael McCarron spins that back to Brady Shea. Shea banks it back in deep. Brace him off. Down to O'Connor. Drew O'Connor plays that back. It's picked up by Andrighetto. He's away with Meyer and Malgin. In comes Timo Meyer. Pivots back. That shot goes wide. Another reach of Malgin. He reaches to it. And now Andrighetto comes in as well.
We also wonder, this would be 3 games in 4 nights with a little bit of travel from Herning, where the fatigue level is late in the game.
The Americans got to come to Stockholm for their quarterfinal because Denmark was guaranteed a home game. So they played Canada at home, the first seed in Group A.
3 and 4, emotional, physical.
This has been a very physical game. And I think, Mike, you'd agree the difference between current Swiss teams and old ones, one, they can score with you, and B, you're not going to intimidate.
No, they're not going anywhere.
Paige Thompson off the face-off. Moves out ahead, in comes Frank Nazar streaking in on Moser. Dennis Moser staying with him. Nazar drives, you know, he gets the blocker down. And Thompson was reaching for that with a very long reach and almost poked that home.
It's a good cut by Nazar. It's a tight angle, broken play, but you get a sense of the speed. Nazar takes it, not only takes it, but turns the corner on Moser and gets it to the front. And Giannoni doesn't have it right away. Now, Giannoni, always aggressive with the stick. He goes paddle down. So he has to grab it with his blocker a la Dominic Hasek before getting a snow shower. Cool him down late in the game.
One to go in the third. Beniers with another face-off to Nazar. Back to Werenski. Shoots. That goes wide. Lacombe on it. Back to Nazar. Fires. That was blocked by Fora. Dug free by Thompson. Looks down to Beniers, who shields off Marty. Now Thompson, a long shot. Stopped by Giannoni. Brought back by Ambul. Tried that pass ahead for Fiala. Broken up by Thompson at center ice. And sent ahead to Beniers. Beniers gets a step on Marty. Plays it back around to Garland, and at the line, Kesselring held it. And now Fora back with it. A rolling puck. He banks it ahead to Niederreiter. Niederreiter has it picked up by Keller. In comes Clayton Keller with a move. Shoots. Giannoni save. Bouncing puck in front. And it was knocked away by Christian Marty, who might have saved the goal right there. Giannoni got some, but not all of that. As Ambul plays it back down to the American zone. Andrighetto plays it back in. That was the sound of several thousand Swiss people exhaling simultaneously. Siegenthaler plays it back in. Swayman up to play it. We talk about Giannoni, but Jeremy Swayman has been fantastic in this game as well, and the tournament. Hagen spins back as the Swiss are changing. Kuka. Back across to Berchi. In comes Berchi, 1-on-4, waiting for the Swiss change to be completed. Centers it, knocked down by Pinto. And Shane Pinto lost the puck to Schmid, but gets it back up, goes rink wide for Smith. He was hit there with a high stick from Janis Moser, and a penalty coming to the Swiss with 6:15 to go in the third period. They'll check Will Smith to see if he's injured.
Right in front of the Swiss bench. They're not happy about it. But it's Moser trying to pull his stick over Smith. Right in the head.
Minor penalty, high stick.
So I'm not sure what. Patrick Fisher could possibly be complaining about. Here's the earlier chance by Keller. Turnover, no gap. This puck could have bounced anywhere, but it bounces square, and Marty misses it, but gets his feet in behind it before sweeping it to safety. So a power play.
US with its second of the game. Hasn't had one since early in the first period. Zach Werenski feeds it across to Keller. Down to Cooley, back for Keller. Clayton Keller brings it down to Logan Cooley. That pass broken up by Siegenthaler, now loose in the corner. Keller jumps up. Banks it back around to Cooley. Thompson knocked down by Schmid. Move to an open wing. Keller back with it. And Schmid banks that by Keller and back down the ice.
That's great pressure rotation by Switzerland. Back and forth twice and still got the clear.
Both these teams exceptional on the penalty kill. Each has allowed just 3 power play goals in 9 games. Thompson posts up, feeds that back to Werenski. Werenski for Cooley, in shoots. That was blocked as Fora got in the way. Played back to Cooley. Cooley spins back. Inside a minute to go in the power play. Flips that down to Garland. That's back down the ice by Fora. 38-23, the shots on goal in favor of the United States. Perch almost stole that from Werenski. Inside 5 to go in the third. Now Canuck steals that. Moves it back in the corner. He's got Berchi with him. And the pass just misfired. Beniers. Bumped there by Berchi, who spills him at the American blue line. Brought ahead by Beniers. Drops it back to Cutter Gauthier. Swings it back across. Smith with a shot. Giannoni save. And again, the rebound got loose for a moment. And Giannoni has it with 19 seconds to go in the American power play.
Not a great power play for the U.S. Could never string together enough passes to get it off the wall. And I think Smith misses his target. He's trying to put this on the far post for a tip. And he fans on it, gets it too far to the middle of the net. So that even when Beniers gets there, it's right in front of Giannoni. U.S. fans on the edge of their seats knowing how close this could be.
19 seconds to go in the power play. Face off, won by Smith. Kesselring, a shot goes wide. Here's Gauthier back on it to Smith with a drive. Put that wide. Kesselring. Back into Beniers. Final seconds of the power play. Marty off the boards and down the ice. One shot for the U.S. in the power play. Still no score with 4:11 to go in the third period. Icing called against the United States.
Was not happy about the icing as the player stepped out of the box and lifted Beniers' stick. And it really should have been blown dead. Should go back to center ice. But good kill for the Swiss. Keep themselves scoreless. That's not an icing when the defender lifts your stick when you try to handle it.
Face-off, won by Andrighetto. Now a shot by Kuka, and his glove by Swayman as Fiala skated through him. And Jackson Lacombe gives him a bump. 4:06 to go in the third period. No score in the gold medal game in Stockholm.
I'd do anything.
Surprise! We got a dog.
Aw, new pet? Let's go to PetSmart. We've got literally anything you need. And make life easier with AutoShip, so you never run out. Huh. PetSmart, anything for pets.
Pretzel crust is back at Little Caesars. It's all Brian can talk about.
It's back!
Yep, soft pretzel crust with cheddar cheese sauce is back.
It's back! It's back! Try delicious pretzel crust at Little Caesars. Still only $8.99. Hot and ready.
This Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy edges.
It's no ordinary square. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy perforations that tear so much better, with more cushiony softness. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
You're seeing Skechers' famous glide step footwear everywhere. And now that famous design is available in hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Get the comfort and style of glide step now with the convenience of slip-ins with no bending down or touching your shoes. Try glide step Skechers slip-ins.
Still waiting for the first goal here in Stockholm in the gold medal game. The Swiss have gone more than 220 minutes without allowing one. Not since Kazakhstan on Tuesday did they allow a goal. And a face-off now in the American zone. Shots widely favoring the U.S. 39-24. Face-off controlled by the Swiss. Siegenthaler throws it towards the goal. Swayman down, scooped up by Peak. And Andrew Peak lifts up to center, trying to find Drew O'Connor. It was knocked down with a high stick at center ice.
Late minutes. Siegenthaler understands the assignment. Get it to the front of the net from any angle. This is where the icings and defensive zone faceoff become so important. This gives the team a chance.
Thompson wins the faceoff back to Shea. Slams it back down to the Swiss zone. Siegenthaler's back to pick it up. For Fiala. Thompson got in the way, but Ambuel has it back. Around to Siegenthaler. Cross to Kukan. Icing waved off as Ambuel gets in there first. Plays it back around to Fiala, loose behind the goal with Niederreiter. Niederreiter to Fiala. Shields off Shea. Niederreiter swings that back to Glauser. The pass out of his reach. He's back down to the Swiss zone. And Giannone way out to play it. And he has broken the modern-day shutout streak record held by Pekka Rinne.
Amazing.
But meaningless if they don't win. Jaeger loose behind the goal. And now Lacombe to the line. Glauser plays that back in. Picked up by Ken Jaeger. He's loose behind the goal. Jaeger still on it. Works that back at the point for Glauser. He's got to retreat. Jonas Moser up for Berchi, and Berchi fires that down. Lacombe up ahead for Pinto, streaking in is Will Smith. He pivots back in the corner. Smith centering pass, knocked away from Pinto, and the puck back down to center ice as Vlasic plays it back in. Losing along the boards, and Marty knocked that into the Swiss bench. 2:18 to go in the third period. The face-off in the Swiss zone.
Switzerland so close. They've never won a gold before in the history of their country.
Bunch of silver medals.
For all intents and purposes, neither has America.
The difference is the Americans have a core of players who have won at the World Junior and the Under 18.
Right.
And a lot of them are here. Karen for the face-off against Schmidt. He wins the face-off back. Here's Nazar. Back around to O'Connor. Drew O'Connor works that back of the line for Kesselring. A shot that goes high as McCarron was standing right in Giannone's face. McCarron. That pass bounces back across. Kesselring fires. That goes wide, and Giannone didn't see that either. Inside 2 to go here in the third period. If they're tied to regulation, there'll be an intermission, and then 3-on-3 overtime until there's a winner. That rule changed a few years ago. The Swiss lost the last gold medal game that went to a shootout in 2018. And Regetta was spilled out. Meyer back on it. In the corner, here's Malgin. He gets loose. Dennis Malgin pivots back. Feeds that back. Moser, a long shot. That went just wide. Swayman gives Meyer a shot after they collide in the crease. Brought back by Garland. Bumped hard by Andrighetto. Now Moser back on it. And Meyer back with it. Timo Meyer. Slides that back to Moser. For Meyer. Shovels it back down to the American zone. Swayman out to play it. There's a minute to go in regulation time. Beniers winds in. Drops it back. Pinto, a hard shot. Was wide up the other side. And Kukan knocks it down. Now picked up by Werenski. Stolen back by Yeager. Yeager. Back down to the American zone. Lacombe back to pick it up. As Berchi lost an edge, and Lacombe slides it ahead to Pinto. In comes Shane Pinto. Shoots. It's off the stick of Siegenthaler. Up and out with 29.3 seconds left in the third.
Close calls offensively. As Meyer battling in front. Now that would have been quite the goalie interference challenge if this would have gone in. Moser sends it down there. Swayman and all tangled up with Meyer, courtesy of Brady Shea. In the end, I don't think this would have counted, but Meyer doing everything he can to bother Jeremy Swayman.
And you talked about it at the start of the game that Meyer would
be around it.
Yeah, he'd be in it, and he has been. 39-24, the shots in favor of the U.S. Here's Kukan back with it. Up ahead of Fiala, sweeps it back down to center ice. As Peake plays that ahead. Swept ahead by Thompson. Kukan back around to Siegenthaler. Puck rolled on him a little bit. And Siegenthaler being harassed there by Beniers. Moves that to Fiala. 10 seconds to go in the period. Lead pass for Ambuel moving in. Shea knocked that away. To Thompson. Lifts it back to center. Gloved down by Fiala. Fiala goes right wide to Ambuel as time expires. And for the 9th time in the history of this tournament, the gold medal game will go to overtime.
It only seems right that two teams who have been waiting decades for this opportunity have to wait a little bit more. But I can't imagine 3-on-3 we don't get a goal in the next period.
Golden goal time coming up. Overtime coming here in Stockholm.
It's like a shower for your nose. This thing is a...
Dancing Carter on the line, fires a shot. Helfrich makes the save. He's got the wraparound! And in the net! Canada has won!
Now Fedorov watching Ovechkin. Plays it across to Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk in, shoots, scores! Ilya Kovalchuk wins the gold medal for Russia.
In Oceana, Nick Paul to Connor Brown. Sees it back across. They score! Nick Paul, a golden goal! And Canada has won the gold medal. Graham feeds it across, Mariner shoots, scores! Sakari Mariner, the overtime winner, and the Finns have won the gold on home ice.
So who's going to be the next hero? We are off to overtime for the 9th time at a gold medal game of the Men's World Hockey Championship. Switzerland 0, United States 0. Just as we all predicted, between two teams who combined for 92 goals in this tournament. Mark Rowe alongside Mark Giordano and Dave Reed. Well, I guess the conversation has to begin with the goaltenders and Leonardo Giannoni. It has been 10 days since he's given up a goal in this tournament. Has been once again sensational for the Swiss.
Yeah, he's been good. A modern-day record, right? He broke the record for most minutes with a shutout here in this tournament and just been solid all game long. He's looked comfortable in there. He's making big saves, 39 shots a game. So it hasn't been a game where he hasn't had action. You know, the U.S., I think they're trying to get guys in front of him. The Swiss are doing a great job. But here's some of his saves. He looks calm. He's reading the play really well here on the penalty shot. Like, that's probably the biggest one of the game. But, yeah, again, when goalies have this body language and they're seeing the puck and you can see that confidence, it's hard to beat them without a screen, a tip, something like that. It's going to take something where it's a broken play or a tip-in or off a face-off because both goaltenders have looked great. And here's Giannoni, 241 minutes and 25 seconds. It's unbelievable. It's a modern-day record. And we were saying before the game, I was saying actually, you know, maybe it's because of the competition and it hasn't been that great. Well, it's not. The U.S. have put up 40 shots tonight.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable numbers where you have to think if the Swiss win today's game, he's going to be the tournament MVP. On the other side, Swayman's numbers aren't quite that good, but he also hasn't lost a game so far in the tournament and has really kept the Americans in this game at times.
He's making the stops when he needs to make them, and sometimes that's more important than making the fancy stops. He's allowing his team the opportunity to win this game. Jeremy Swayman has made 24 stops, not as many as his counterpart Leonardo Giannoni. But the Swiss are taking not only the puck, but taking bodies to the front of the net. There have been some pushes, some shoves, some accidental fall-on-use plays, and that's how I think Switzerland feels that they're going to have to score. And this was one, Niederreiter's a great tip. It's one of the Swayman's best saves. And right at the end of the game, we saw Timo Meier fall on top of him, and it looked as though he gave him the blocker in the back of the head, but then on the replays, you could see that it wasn't quite that. But Switzerland, you saw Fiala bump him. We've seen Niederreiter in front of him. You've seen Timo Meier go to the front of the net. They're trying a little different strategy when the U.S. is just putting pucks to the net. Switzerland's actually trying to put bodies and really knock Swayman off his game, and it hasn't worked so far.
I can imagine the crowd in Boston would have liked that move if he did that at home. You know, I mentioned the 92 goals between these two teams, first and second in goals in this tournament, Gio. So how are we 0-0? And I guess is the answer the defensive structure of both teams?
The structure has been great. And as the game goes on and it gets closer and closer to the end, as a player, you're going to just err on the side of caution. You're going to get above pucks. You're going to get above your guy. You're going to be back in your own zone. And here I'll highlight it. 4 guys in Switzerland back, forcing the dump, and here we go. They're swarming. Once you get in the zone, they swarm you. They get the puck out of the zone, and the U.S. are doing the same thing. Look at the track. Look at the guys above the puck. They're erring on the side of caution here. There's 4 guys back on the U.S. to Switzerland's 3. Force the dump again. So I've noticed as the game has gone on, especially, and that's human nature as a player. You don't want to be the guy to get caught on the 3-on-2 rush or the 2-on-1. You stay on that defensive side of the puck, and it's hard to break through.
Dave, it's tough to pick any player, really, that's been dangerous. Frank Nazar, though, maybe is one of them for the Americans. You think back at that penalty shot and, like, maybe if we put him in, but he almost got the Americans on the board in the 3rd period.
All right, so if we're going to pick someone for a goal, I'm going to say Frank Nazar now, all right? And the reason I'm saying
you get the first choice.
I'm going to, hey, you jump on top of it when you can. The reason I'm saying that is because if it's going to be 3-on-3, you're going to need someone with great speed. Nazar's had great speed twice in this game on straight line shots, and this is one. He draws the penalty shot, and he's also got tremendous play in tight. He can beat guys in tight one-on-one. This was shorthanded near the end of the period. He had a great opportunity on a. This was the dump, and I love that's the old Glenn Anderson. I'm just going to drive the puck to the net, and he just tries. He leads the team in scoring. He's got the most points. He's pushing the play every time he's on the ice. He makes something happen, and he's making a lot of things out of nothing. That play, he had the puck in the corner, and he's able to drop the shoulder, cut to the net, and he's not 6'4", 210 pounds like O'Connor, who can just drop the shoulder and carry someone. He's taking himself to an area where he knows he's going to get whacked, and he's having a tremendous tournament, and we've seen it many times. This tournament builds to the National Hockey League season. His National Hockey League career is just getting going in Chicago, and yeah, I think he's going to get the game winner. I'm picking him right now.
Okay. Well, the Americans a goal away from their first World Championship since 1933. The Swiss 1 goal away from their first ever World Championship. Well, for those who like defensive hockey, you love this gold medal game. When we return, we'll show you a game that had some goals. The bronze medal game, Sweden-Denmark, when we return.
Leonardo Giannoni in the Swiss net has set the modern-day shutout streak record. Jeremy Swayman has stopped all 24 shots he's faced. The 2 goaltenders have been terrific. And now for the first time in the history of the World Championship, there'll be overtime after neither team scored in regulation.
That was as well-played defensive game as you could imagine for 2 exceptionally high-scoring teams. I wonder about the face-off get-off here by Shane Pinto.
Now you wonder, Ziv Boyum hasn't played in the 3rd period at all for the U.S. He's a dynamic offensive player. Would they look at it?
No. You got Werenski, you got Lacombe, you have Evan Shea, you got other options. You only need 3, maybe 4.
Last golden goal in the World Championship scored in 2022 by Finland against Canada. The Canadians scored a golden goal against them the year before. And away we go in overtime. 3-on-3. Both teams have been to overtime before. The Swiss lost their opener to the Czechs 5-4 in OT.
Too many men. Switzerland just had too many men.
And did they get it?
No. They were trying to do the Latvia in one door, out the other. Jaeger was jumping off. Fiala was jumping on. But Jaeger was down in his own end, and Fiala was out in the neutral zone. You watch the top of our screen. Jaeger 17, swings deep, and it looks like he wants to maybe go on the defense. There goes Fiala. And that's pushing the limit.
That's very, yeah.
I know the puck wasn't near, but that's pushing the limit.
Now Pinto for the offensive zone face-off for the U.S. against Andrighetto. The U.S. an overtime win against Norway after blowing a 5-1 lead in that game. Tage Thompson scored the OT winner to clinch a hat trick. Here is Werenski. Yes. Werenski winds that back to Pinto. Shane Pinto retreats to center ice. Fiala lost his stick.
Skate into the stick.
Now brought in by Werenski. Walks it in, shoots. Rolled off his stick. And now Glauser, the captain, picks it free. Andres Ambul, the oldest player in the tournament, age 41, out there in OT. Glauser. To Malgin. In comes Malgin, winding in. Dennis Malgin gets a step. Has a look back, spins out and shoots, and Swayman got a piece of that. The puck goes up and out.
Malgin winds the net, and he put off from Keller to Veneer. He can't handle that kind of speed. LeComte protecting back door. This catch the cheater? Sure does. Jeremy Swayman makes his first save of overtime.
Now Meyer will take the face-off against Pinto in the offensive zone for Switzerland.
Pinto clearly the face-off specialist for the U.S.
The U.S. 8-1 in the tournament. The Swiss 8-0-1. They lost their opener and have won 8 straight since. Alex Vlasic brings it back out for the U.S. Vlasic in across the line with LeComte, and they call it offside at the Swiss line.
You see what the U.S. was doing, which is interesting. Defensive zone face-off, they go 2 defensemen. And then once they get possession, they're trying to rotate in forwards. Now, in neutral zone face-off, they'll put out 2 forwards. Not worry about the defensive posture in the neutral zone.
Veneers for the face-off against Jaeger.
One of Jaeger is the Swiss face-off specialist.
Veneers wins that face-off back to LeComte. Who's going to be the overtime hero? One of these teams tonight. Both teams have goals from 19 different players. In comes Clayton Keller with a step on Jaeger. Keller in, backhanded that wide. Now Keller back on it. Taken in by Niederreiter, picked up by Jaeger. Out the other side is Moser. He's tied up there by Beniers, but Jaeger has it back with Niederreiter. In comes Ken Jaeger. Drops it back for Niederreiter. Centers it, that pass just missed as Moser couldn't reach it. Nino Niederreiter, an overtime hero for the Swiss in the 2010 World Junior Championship. They knock off the Russians in the quarterfinals in what was at the time one of the greatest moments in Swiss hockey. In comes Andrighetto, posting up. Andrighetto drops it back, picked off by Shea. Out for Cooley, ahead to Thompson. Tage Thompson with Logan Cooley. Thompson in, shoots, scores! Tage Thompson, golden goal! And the United States has won the World Hockey Championship for the first time in 92 years. Tage Thompson, the native of Glendale, Arizona, snaps it by Giannone, and the United States has won the World Hockey Championship. There were Olympic gold medals in the intervening time, but as far as a pure World Championship is concerned, this is their first gold since 1933. And for the Swiss, it is heartbreak again. 4 gold medal game losses in the last 13 years. But for the United States, the youngest team in the tournament, a core of young players who've been together for under 18 in World Junior wins. They've done it at the senior level now.
This is what happens. You get playing 3-on-3, little bit of room, bit of 2-on-1.5. And Tage Thompson has been looking all game to get to a spot where he could shoot it. He's had a few cracks. He was sending them over the net. Target was not quite right. But in the biggest moment, when the U.S. had to have it, drags to change the angle and just slings it past the block of Siegenthaler. Oh, look at that. Right over the blocker. One of the best shooters in the NHL. 44 goals last year. And the one in this game.
His second overtime winner of the World Championship. And Tage Thompson, who came here as a man on a mission, wasn't selected for the Four Nations roster for the U.S. Wanted to prove he could do it at the top level. Going to be hard to say no now for Milan.
What a moment for Tage Thompson.
And what a year for USA Hockey. Gold at the World Championship, at the World Junior, at the Women's Under-18s, silver at the Men's Under-18s and the Women's World. And for Andres Ambuel and Leonardo Ginoni, two of the veterans of this Swiss team. Final shots were 40-25 in favor of the United States. The 40th one went in. And Ginoni allows a goal for the first time in 4 games.
It was going to happen. You push one way, you're going to give up mini breaks. That wasn't even a bad breakdown. It was just a world-class shooter giving a little bit of daylight and making the most of it.
Ginoni had gone 243 minutes without allowing a goal. And then Tage Thompson beats him, and the celebration's on. The United States has waited generations for a breakthrough at this level.
Tage Thompson spoke about wanting to be part of a group that put that myth to bed, that the U.S. can't win, that the best players won't be here, that it doesn't matter. And they played like it does. They played so well when it mattered most. Ecstasy on one side and despair that has been 20 years in the making for Andreas Ambuel on the other.
This is the tournament all-star team being announced. Leonardo Ginoni is the all-star goaltender. Werenski on defense for the U.S.
Think of the captain, Clayton Keller, and Tage Thompson as well. Two guys who wanted the Olympic.
That was the Directorate All-Stars, by the way. The top goalie, Ginoni, the top defenseman, Werenski, the top forward, Pasternak. Now announced the media All-Star team.
Goalkeeper, Team Switzerland.
So this is the All-Star team. Ginoni is the All-Star goaltender.